Hello, hello, hello.
Hey,
Oh. Hey, Colin. How you doing?
fine.
Just fine.
Yep, yep, just fine.
Why are you being so short?
What do you want me to say?
I mean, I mean, we are doing a podcast.
Sure, yeah. Uh-huh.
Usually people talk on a podcast.
I think I've talked.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So, how are you doing? Are you okay?
Yep.
Is QK there? Does she have a gun to your head?
No,
Does she have
no, QK's not here.
Does she have a golden gun to your head?
No.
Okay, well, I guess I'll get started. I'm Aaron Nix. I'm here with Carlin Trammell.
Hi.
Uh, we are the James Pod podcast, and this episode we are talking about the man with the golden gun.
Yep.
So, any thoughts, Carlin?
I have some questions for you.
Sure.
Last episode, last month, we talked about establishing some high-level goals for the members of this podcast. And
great.
I don't think that I've heard from you on your high-level goals and how you've done on those. Nor have I heard from Alabama Dog. In fact, I see that Alabama Dog has expanded his Alabama Dog University offering. So he's really put a lot of effort this last month into that, but not this podcast and the high level goals for himself.
I assume you're talking about the Alabama Dog Agency website.
Well, he's got several different programs. I've looked them up. Would you like for me to list off the classes he's offering?
I mean, sure. For our listeners that aren't already aware, sure.
Well, I'm sure many listeners are already aware and signed up for such a thing. I mean, that's
Yeah, of course,
because Alabama Dog is using this podcast as a way of promoting this. So,
Well, no one's saying that. No one's saying that.
I'm saying that.
I think it's the other way around. But go ahead.
Old Alabama Dog, New Tricks, which is, I believe, a class all about how to use technology, new technologies like podcasts to promote yourself and your services.
So does he use our show as an example?
He doesn't mention our show. See, it's a one-way street here. Our show mentions Alabama Dog University, but I don't ever get any kind of mention. I don't ever see any kind of mention of the James Pod podcast in Alabama Dog U. Raining Cats and Alabama Dogs.
Okay.
Which is all about success. It's all about achieving success.
Make it rain. Mm-hmm. Make it rain. All right.
The follow-up to that, of course, is the Every Alabama Dog Has Its Day.
So are these half-hour sessions, day-long sessions? What are these?
I think there's a variety. I mean, I think you can get just a little bit of a sampling, and then sometimes you can get like one-on-one sessions with the Alabama Dog.
He just, I heard he just walks up to you and hands you a frisbee and wants you to play with them.
It's very, I don't know. It's very like Zen or something like that. It's not really, it's not what you would expect.
Is Wayne Newton involved at all?
He very well might be.
Okay.
Let's see here. There's Let Sleeping Alabama Dogs Lie. So that's when you're trying to figure out that this class is all about trying to figure out what challenges you should accept and what challenges you shouldn't. So sometimes you should just let sleeping Alabama dogs lie.
All right. I mean, is that all?
And then Alabama Dog Ate My Homework.
Oh.
Which is all about how to make excuses for why you didn't get your work done.
Right. I mean, everybody needs that once in a while.
So what high level goals have you accomplished this last month?
So have you been doing your homework? Did you go to that session?
I didn't go to any of those sessions.
Okay. Okay. What high level goals have I done this month?
Yeah.
Listen. Listen here, Buckaroo. I didn't do any high level goals. Zero. Zilch.
Didn't you listen to last month's podcast? Didn't you hear that was
I mean I took it under consideration and I decided, you know what? I'm gonna go the Alabama dog route.
Oh, am I the only one who cares about this podcast?
Well, give me an example of a high level goal that you did this past month.
I wanted to know more about James Bond, and I realized I had not read.
Isn't that what we're doing?
I had not read any, except for a few chapters of Casino Royale, but I had not read any of the original books.
Okay.
So I had QK read all the books for me.
Oh, how cute! That's adorable.
So that was one high level goal.
So all the books were one goal.
Well, I mean, I looked at it as several goals, but it's sub goals in a larger goal.
So did she read the entire book to you, or did she just read like a page?
No,
summary?
she didn't read them for me or to me. She read them for me.
Oh, I see. I thought you like sat down on the floor and she by the fireplace and she read the books.
No. My high level goal was for her to read all of the books.
Okay. So, I mean, should we have QK on this podcast, this recording?
Absolutely not.
I mean, it sounds like she may know a whole lot, and she might be a nice fourth chair to have on the show.
We are actually not legally allowed to use that term. Fourth chair. We're not actually legally allowed to use that term.
Ooh, who owns that? Who owns that term?
We're just not allowed to.
Is it the National Dodgeball League?
Well, you know what? I'll check with Lisa Prentice about that and see if
Lisa
we can.
Prentice.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, once we get to dodgeball, I think we have a ruling.
We have some loose ends to tie up, is what you're saying. And
yes.
And what you're trying to do is veer us off one of the other loose ends we have to tie up, and that is that you didn't do your high level goals. So I would say, let me think. If I were to rank,
for the sake of the listeners,
if I were to rank who's the most devoted to this podcast in order of most to least, I would rank myself.
You know,
a distant second, you, and a very distant third, Alabama Dog.
Okay, let's put this up to a vote on our Tumblr page. So this month, listeners, we're going to let you do a little vote. Vote for who you think invests the most effort, the most time into this podcast.
Yep.
Yeah. And you know, I'm just going to guess right now that Alabama Dog's going to win.
Probably because Sailor Sam will be voting for him over and over again.
I sure hope so. Yeah, maybe we should have Sailor Sam as a fourth chair. Or sorry, can't say that.
You can't say that. You're not allowed to say that.
Fine. Fourth mic?
What, I think you can say that, yeah.
Say it. Okay, yeah. The fourth mic. Fine.
Okay.
All right, so The Man with the Golden Gun.
Yep. That's our movie this episode 0010.
0010, that's right. All right, so this is what is this? This is the third Roger Moore film we've done?
No. Oh, well, yeah, but it's not his third movie.
No. Did I say that? I didn't say that.
I thought that's what you're going to say. And no, you didn't say that.
It's his second movie.
It's his second movie, but it's like the
it came out the year after Live and Let Die.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, any thoughts? I mean, what did you remember from this film the most?
That Tattoo from Fantasy Island is in it. You know, he plays Nick Nack.
No, he's Nick Nack who plays Tattoo.
Mm-hmm. That's what I meant. Christopher Lee is the Bond villain. Christopher Lee probably best known for being one of the. I think he's Darth Vader, right? He played Darth Vader.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit about this movie before the last Roger Moore film we covered, because Maud Adams was Octopussy in
Yeah.
Octopussy.
It's nice to see her reprise her role as a Bond girl in this movie.
Yeah, she plays
She went
proto
back in time.
Octopussy in this movie.
She's not really dead when we do see her dead. It's just I mean, this movie's full of mannequins and dummies. I assume that it was just a mannequin.
She's not really dead as long as we remember her.
That's so sweet. That's like some Renard poetry right there.
I stole it from one of your poems about Renard.
I knew that sounded familiar.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so Oddjob and Knick-Knack and Scaramanga.
Oddjob? How are you possibly comparing Oddjob to Knick-Knack?
So Scaramanga one is he's the villain. Before I ever saw his name written out, I always thought it was Scalamanga, because I feel like everybody in the movie is pronouncing it differently. Do you feel like that?
Can't say as I did. I mean, maybe. I think that happens from time to time. I think you see an inconsistency of how characters' names like that are said. When it's not like James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can see
Can't mess that up.
Actors are saying, like they've already done their script read-throughs and they've already settled on how they're going to say it. And
unless they say Bames John Dean.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't notice that. I didn't. I can't say I noticed that.
I'm just saying. So I loved Christopher Lee as the villain. In fact, he's one of my favorite villains in all Bond movies.
He's good. He's a good actor. He's got a great screen presence. I got a little hazy on some stuff in the movie as far as
hazy.
Yeah.
Well, did you watch the movie? Is this another instance where QK just gave you notes?
No, I don't. I watched half the movie.
Half the movie? What did you hate it so much that you just gave up on it?
No. I watched the first half of the movie, and I was unable to continue for technical reasons.
Technical reasons, as in?
Well, I don't even want to talk about this because I know what's going to happen. You know how I have the Blu-rays?
Oh, yes, the Blu-rays.
Yes, you know how I have the Blu-rays.
Oh, I'm drinking my peppy coffee. My Blu-rays.
Let me drink some peppy coffee.
Excuse me, I gotta put in my Blu-ray over here. Okay, so I assume it was great quality and all that.
Oh, it's fantastic quality.
Yeah.
But Britt Eklund never looked better.
I can't even imagine.
But
nor should I imagine.
But got about halfway into the movie and it stopped playing. I can get on my technical reasons. I think what's happened is that my Blu-ray player I had to do a firmware upgrade, and I think when that happened, it's now causing discs to not be able to read the second layer.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Did you say your Blu-ray player broke? Excuse me while I watch my broken Blu-ray. Meanwhile, my perfectly good DVD player
Yep.
worked just fine.
Yep.
So maybe this is just some karma for you, like thinking you're all hot stuff.
I am.
You are hot stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So you weren't able to finish the movies. Does this mean the podcast is over? Like you can't watch any other movies?
I can at least watch the first half of the movies.
All the movies.
No, I will try and figure out a way to fix this issue before we record 0011.
I can't even imagine how much you yelled at QK when this happened?
I think you could probably imagine. It wouldn't be accurate though, because I'd never yell.
Right. We know that, and the listeners know that from experience.
Right.
Yeah. You're right. Okay. All right. So, QK, I hope I hope when you listen to this later, I hope you're alive. I hope you're alive, and that you don't have broken Blu-rays all over your body in a grave in Carlin's backyard or something like that.
Black and Blu-ray.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you got through half the movie. So at what part of the movie did you leave off?
Well, it was about the same time that our old buddy, our old friend and pal, Sheriff Pepper showed up, and I thought
Sheriff Pepper.
I thought for a bit that maybe my Blu-ray player was rebelling against Sheriff Pepper, and I tried to reason with it. I said, if you keep going, there'll be more Britt Eklund later. Just keep going, and it seemed to want to have none
So
of that.
was it the first time that Sheriff Pepper showed up?
Yeah, it was during the little the little motorboat
Okay.
chase.
Little motor. Him in these boat chases. I feel like the writer's like, oh, boat chase. Well, we gotta throw in Sheriff Pepper.
Exactly. Well, he had just been in the previous one, so I don't know if they were planning on having. Well, and this was co-written by Tom Mankiewicz, who,
Yeah.
and maybe it was even all the same writers as Live and Let Die. So I don't know if it was one of these things where Tom Mankiewicz loves this actor because he shows up in Superman 2 as well. So maybe
He's
it's just
like, He's like, we need some comic relief here, and there's no better character that I can think of than the Sheriff Pepper.
In fact, I kind of want to go through all of Tom Mankiewicz's movies and see if Sheriff Pepper shows up in all of them.
I would expect that they would. I mean, he's it's genius. It's genius if he could have pulled that off.
Yeah, I hope so. Now that he did.
Well, and you have to wonder if he's in it. If every different movie that he wrote is just like completely racist. Because now Sheriff Pepper gets a good chance to make fun of Asian people.
I'll have to take your word for it because really,
That's right.
I mean, there was something about an elephant, and it was skipping bad by that point. So
yeah, the whole elephant scene was cut very strangely. Like they had like a pickup shoot or second unit shoot doing that, and it was very strange. So you're probably better off for not seeing that. But you did miss like the greatest car jump over a river shot with the sound effect.
that sound effect was actually in it.
Yes.
So do you think that if Tom Mankiewicz, if every movie has Sheriff Pepper in it, do you think then that it's saying that all of these movies that he wrote are a part of a Mankiewicz-verse? And so, like, Superman 2 actually takes place in the same reality as Live and Let Die and Man with the Golden Gun?
Yeah, so when Bond goes to New York and Live and Let Die, I mean, is that not New York? Is it Metropolis? Like, is he? I mean, is Metropolis just full of angry, villainous black people? I mean, that's a good question.
I guess there's that. Yeah, that's possible.
I mean, it's worth investing. Maybe in a future podcast we'll do a special episode dedicated to Sheriff Pepper.
I tell you what, we'll leave it up to the fans. Fans, if that's what you want, you send us letters and let us know. We'll do that. We'll do that.
So just confirming with you that this is the second vote of that we are asking the fans to do from this episode. They're now up to 2 votes. Sorry, fans. We're giving you a lot of responsibility.
We'll just make sure that the poll has 2 questions. We'll just work that in.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, this podcast is like a choose your own destiny.
I mean,
Like,
let's be
do
honest,
you want
though.
an episode on this or not?
The first question you posed, that's a no-brainer. Obviously, I am the most dedicated, I am the most devoted, so that's not
Here we
even
go.
anything
Here
for
we
them to
go.
even consider.
Here we go.
But this one, this next question, that's something that's worth consideration.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just gonna agree with you. I'm just gonna agree with you.
Of course.
All right, so let's go into um, a fan favorite. Fan favorite. It might be the best segment of our show.
Wait a second. Have we talked about the movie at all?
We're gonna talk about the movie.
Oh, we
We'll
still
talk-
have. We still haven't
Yeah,
gotten
yeah.
to the segment where we
We're-
talk about the movie. We're going to still go to that segment.
we're gonna take a break from the Sheriff Pepper discussion, talk about this segment, and then that will hopefully lead into discussion about this movie.
Okay.
Does
Okay.
that sound good?
I
mean,
guess
or
I didn't get
at least-
the agenda from you before we started, but okay.
at least a discussion about the first half of the movie, because that's all that you can speak to.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Unfortunately, right. Okay. All right. So, and of course, the segment I'm talking about is our dodgeball teams. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and recap your dodgeball team?
This is getting to be a very long segment of just including the recap.
Let's just do
Tiger Tanaka,
go through
Boris,
it fast.
Solitaire,
Yeah, there you
Cigar Girl, Coral Jr., Timothy Dalton Bond, Odd Job, Sean Connery Bond, and The Shark. And I also have on the board the possibility of replacing Coral Jr. with Lisa Prentice of the National Dodgeball League. And you have,
All right.
Go ahead.
I
You
have Q, Baron Samedi, Roger Moore Bond, Xenia Onatop, Necros, Twin Knife Thrower number 1, Octopus, Aston Martin Carr, and Loti. And before we go ahead and pick new members or swap anybody out, I just want to say that Lisa Prentice, I'm sorry, but we're not gonna allow you to be on these dodgeball teams. When we first set out on our dodgeball teams, we talked about picking characters from the movies.
Okay.
And unless there is a Lisa Prentice character or object or animal or anything in the movie, then I'm sorry, Lisa. I'm thank you for responding to Carlin's email, but we're gonna have to let you go.
So what I really need to do is I need to campaign Sam Mendes to include a character in the 24th Bond film named Lisa Prentice, who is a dodgeball player. And at that point, she would be fair game to include on the dodgeball team because she had been in a movie.
Well, nobody says she's a dodgeball player. Just because she works for the league doesn't mean she actually plays. I mean, she could be just an office person for all we know.
She could be the National Dodgeball League's QK.
Exactly. I mean, I assume she kind of is. Yeah. So you go ahead and write to Sam Mendes so that, by the time we talk about the new movie, that you can finally draft your Lisa Prentice.
Now, if we get to that point and it's your turn to go first, are you going to spitefully pick her first?
I might pick her and just put her on the bench.
Oh.
I might do that. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see. All right. So since I picked first last episode for License to Kill, it's you can go ahead and go first.
Okay. I'm going to do something rather unprecedented as far as our teams have gone. I'm going to add in as my 10th player. So we're now at 10. So this is a big deal.
Yeah.
Because we've reached max capacity. And I'm going to pick as my 10th player Andrea, the character played by Maud Adams.
Andrea.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
And I'm going to cut Coral Jr. And I'm going to replace Coral Jr. with Octopussy. So it's somebody I've cut before. I'm going to bring her back.
Oh,
and now I'm going to have 2 Maud Adams on my team.
Oh my gosh. 2 Maud Adams? How is this possible? So okay. So are there will there physically be two different people on the court? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, Andrea will be on the court, and Octopussy will be on the court.
Oh man. Okay, so will they get confused? Will your is this just to confuse my Roger Moore Bond? He's like, oh, two for the price of one.
It could distract him quite a bit. I think this is a very good strategy on my part to distract your one
Okay.
one Bond character you got on the team.
Yeah. I mean, I just imagine that they would look at each other and have this like, it's like Back to the Future where you're not supposed to see your former self. Like you're not supposed to mess with it.
She's not the same
Um,
person.
I
She's two different characters who just they look
yeah,
strikingly similar.
strikingly similar. I just think they're gonna have like an existential meltdown or something. Like, who am I? She's me, but 10 years older. Oh no.
No, I think it'll be fine. I think we'll be good.
Fine, fine. Okay, so you got Andrea,
Mm-hmm.
most like generic name on either of our teams,
I don't know.
and Octopussy.
Twin knife thrower number one is kind of generic, don't you think?
Twin knife thrower number one. That's like a. Oh gosh, what's stinking Tobias Funke's role that he always wants to get? Oh, in a prison inmate number two or
Right,
whatever
right, right.
in Arrested Development. That's great. It's kind of like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So is that the only trade you're gonna do? Octopussy for Coral Jr.
I can do more trades. I thought we could only do one ad and one trade.
Okay. Well, you're done. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
okay.
done. So it's your turn.
Okay.
What do you got?
Okay. Oh, what do you got? What do you got? Okay. So I think first and foremost, I'm gonna put Nick Knack on my team.
Uh huh.
Nick Knack. I mean, he's loyal. He's he's got a sleight of hand, uh, pickpocketing people. He's good with his hands. Um,
Let's get right to it, though.
he's
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 going to be a
he's
harder target to hit.
yeah, exactly. He's short.
Uh huh.
He's tough to knock down. Um, and he's great at deceiving people by standing perfectly still as like a mannequin.
He is.
So people
He
people
is
could
very
walk
good at that.
people could walk by him and not, or just like you could think the game is over, but secretly Nick Knack is still out in the court.
Right.
Right. And when it's time for him to throw, I know you didn't get this far, but the end of the movie when he's throwing the like dozen or so wine bottles at Bond, he hits Bond with every single wine
Oh,
bottle.
oh, see, I
Every
didn't even
single
see that
wine
part.
bottle.
I didn't see that part, so I would
It's
have probably picked Knick-Knack.
I mean Bond is essentially trying to dodge these wine bottles, and he has to
But
like.
wait, did Roger Moore? You said Roger Moore got hit every
Well,
time.
Roger Moore was blocking them with his chair, and then the suitcase. So technically, like he didn't. Bond wasn't able to dodge them. He was able to block them with
Oh, so it's a block,
different
not a
different
dodge.
devices. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
you still see evidence of why Roger Moore actually makes a good player for your team.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay,
I mean,
okay,
he uses what's around him. Plus, Nick Knack's on my team now, so he doesn't have to worry about Nick Knack.
okay.
Um, so
He still has to worry about quite a few people, though. I mean, Odd Job, Sean Connery Bond, Timothy Dalton Bond, Andrea. There's a lot of people he has to worry about.
Andrea, what? Okay, so let's backtrack a little bit. So why did you pick Andrea just to confuse my Roger Moore?
I
Is
just
that the
wanted
only
Andrea
reason?
and Octopussy on the same team. I thought that'd be a fun thing to
Okay.
do.
Okay. No, it is fun. It'll be fun for at least a month if you keep her around for
Right.
longer than that.
I've cut Octopussy before. It may happen again.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I'm gonna trade somebody out. This hurts
Goodbye,
me to do this.
Lodi.
What? What's your beef against Lodi?
I'm predicting that's who you're cutting.
Indeed, I am cutting Lodi. So sorry to the other women on my team. I am cutting Lodi, and I am actually going to draft Sheriff Pepper.
Oh, this this will not end well for you.
I think it will. I mean, okay, so Roger Moore has been kind of on my case for a while. He's very egotistical Bond. Okay, and Sheriff Pepper is just the sort of sidekick that he needs. He's the perfect sidekick who loves to be around Bond, and he's just like that happy-go-lucky type of like guy you just kind of feel sorry for.
Really?
So pure he's on my
Really?
team. He's on my team purely to comfort Roger Moore, to make him feel better, to kind of be a cheerleader in the background, and to make you so furious that you're you're blinded by your hate for Sheriff Pepper.
Um. So, Man with the Golden Gun.
I think we're at that point in our show where we can. So we don't do any sort of rankings on this podcast in terms of like 1 through 24, but we do like to put them in a one of three tiers. So like the top or the middle or the bottom. So Carlin, what tier is the Man with the Golden Gun in for you?
Well, I will say that even though I was not able to finish it this podcast, I have seen it before, and I would put it in the middle. I'd say this is a middle. This is one of Moore's better entries, although I would not say his best, although we haven't gotten to what I would say his best is. But I would say it's his best of the three Roger Moore movies we've seen. It's my favorite of his movies. So I'm going to say middle for this.
Middle it is. Middle it is.
For you as well?
No, actually, I'm gonna put the Man with the Golden Gun in my top.
Whoa.
Whoa. Yeah, I, I know there's a lot of things wrong with this movie. I mean, it's cheesy. It's a Roger Moore movie. The ending is like what? There was a lot of potential kind of left out there. But this is one of the most memorable Bond movies I can think of. Man with the Golden Gun. I love the villain. I love the setting. I love
That golden gun. Boy, you
yeah,
sure love that golden gun.
I love Goodnight.
Yeah.
Um, I even like Nick Nack. Okay, I know he's on my team. I just really enjoyed this movie. Um, and I was, it's obviously Guy Hamilton's last Bond movie he shot, and I think he did a really good job with it, and so I'm putting it in my top.
Wow. Didn't see that one coming.
Really,
I wouldn't have guessed that you would have said top, but here we are. Here we
it's
are.
it's probably. I'm not gonna say it's my favorite Moore movie, but it's one of my favorite Moore movies. And and it is now the third movie in my top with the word gold in it.
That's the only reason why you said top.
That's what I'm saying. If Sam Mendes' new movie comes out and it has gold in its title, I'm like, it's guaranteed to
You're right.
be in my top.
You're right. So there's two things we need. When I write my letter to Sam Mendes,
Yeah.
I will mention he needs to add a character named Lisa Prentice, who is a dodgeball player, and he needs to make sure that the word gold is somehow in the title of the movie.
Oh, and before we wrap up here, that you should put a big check mark by boat makeout scene, because there was indeed a boat makeout scene to end this movie.
And just to tally that, we're at 4 out of 10
Yeah,
end with the boat makeout scene. That's 40%. That's not too shabby, really, if you think about it.
it's great. It's a great percentage. So maybe we should also suggest that to Sam Mendes. Like, if you could end with a boat makeout scene, that would just make us really happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah.
Next time on the podcast, we'll be doing episode 0011. Aaron, what movie are we going to talk about next time?
I'm thinking we do Casino Royale.
I think it's time. Casino Royale.
Casino Royale.
For episode 0011.
Royale. Casino Royale with cheese.
Yes. All right, Aaron. It was an okay discussion. I mean, the first half of it was fine. The back half, I don't know. I didn't even listen.
No, thanks to you. I mean, well, obviously we know you have trouble paying attention to back half of things. Okay, so from all of us here, James Pod Podcast. Thanks for listening.
And good night.
We'll see it. And good night. Yeah. Oh, clever.